for you to look into it further for your business. All right, so let's get into some of the pros and cons of leasing. We'll start with equipment. And before I get started with that, let me make a blanket statement that I've heard from many business people over the years, and I agree with it myself. Rarely does leasing make sense on a personal level. Usually, to take best advantage to leasing, you need to be in some kind of business to take advantage of the tax implications of leasing. And you wouldn't get those as an individual. So check with your tax professional on this. All right, let's get to the pros and cons with regard to equipment. Well, you can usually get the equipment you need without a really large cash investment. And you can spread the lease payments out over months or years even. For instance, let's say you needed a $4,000 3D printer. You might be able to lease the machine, and I'm just making numbers up here, for maybe $100 a month. And many lessors, and a lessor would be the company that owns the equipment and is leasing it to you, may not even require a big down payment or deposit. Now, the better your credit is, the more likely they won't make you jump through that many hoops to get the equipment. And even if your credit isn't great, you got to remember, they want to move that piece of equipment and get it generating revenue. In their minds, they're trying to decide if it's better to give it to you and hope you pay, all right, and that you don't ruin the machine, or if it's better to let it sit until a more substantial lessee is what you would be, comes along. So don't be afraid to ask if you definitely need the equipment for your business. Another thing to keep in mind is that the lessor may require you to have insurance on the piece of equipment in case it gets lost or stolen. So you must figure this into your budget when considering how much this piece of equipment will cost you overall. Now, some companies will include a maintenance agreement as part of